Trinidad, located just off the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway in El Socorro, there is something big going on. Meet Jason, enthusiastic, passionate, a little crazy. He doesn't simply modify cars and trucks. His creations are the result of a driving passion for the perfect combination of innovation, power, and style. But the real boss is Diesel. His opinion is worse than his bark and his bite. The big decisions get put on his plate for a thorough chew-through. This is the team that will take your ride to new heights. This is Bad Granny.
So today's documentary is about Rallycross, and we head across to Barbados to check out the Red Bull Global Rallycross team in Bushy Park. We're going to see the teams, the cars, and the track, and see how it all comes together to make one amazing race. Rallycross is a form of sprint-style automobile racing, held on a closed mixed-surface racing circuit with modified production or specially built road cars. Organizations put on Rallycross events all over the world. You will find them in the US, Australia, UK, and nearly all of Europe. So let's take a look at what the Global Rallycross is all about. So there are 12 events that take place all over the United States during the year, but only one is held outside, and that's in Bushy Park in Barbados. The location for GRC in the States is Fort Lauderdale, Daytona, New River, Detroit, Washington, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. Out of the States, it's Barbados and Bushy Park. The GRC track in Bushy Park had two surfaces, the tarmac surface, which allowed some high-speed runs, and the loose gravel surface, which had a jump in it, which could launch up to 70 feet. Because of the portable nature of the courses, they can be built basically anywhere. In the race, there's a joker lap. Now the joker lap is pretty crazy. It allows you a shortcut. Now you can only use it once and you can't use it on the first lap. So if you're leading the race, on the second lap you can take it and increase your lead by up to a second, or you could take it later on in the race and get in front of your opponent, depending on how close you are. Now in the race you can be applied a stop and go penalty in the penalty box, and that's for on-track infractions to keep the race moving. And that happens if you have a jump start, you take the joker lap twice, or for basically over-aggressive driving. and it's designed to keep everything moving while applying a penalty for these infractions.
Inquire about our payment options today. Visit our website at beacon.co.tt to find out about our B Content insurance plan.
The Global Rallycross in particular is broken down into two classes: the supercars and the lights. Now the supercars are basically for the pros, we'll get to them, and the lights is basically a new class designed by GRC for the up and coming drivers to make them new stars in Global Rallycross. It's a perfect training ground for any junior driver who wants to get into Rallycross. GRC Lights is a tightly controlled spec class, designed with an emphasis on driver skill. They produce just over half of the power of the top supercar vehicles and are designed to be more manageable for developing star drivers. So let's meet some of the new up-and-coming talent, and let's see what they say about their experience in GRC Lights.
I race in the GRC Supercar Light Series, which is essentially a development series for the supercars, and we have about half the amount of horsepower as them, so we have about 320 horsepower. It's a 6-speed sequential gearbox and all-wheel drive car. So for me, I'm coming from racing open-wheel cars. I've never actually driven an all-wheel drive car until this year, but I can tell you that is one of my most favorite things about the car. I mean, it's the power you can pull out of the corners. Having the all-wheel drive is incredible, and for me, that's just made this type of racing so much fun. You can really throw the car in there and get a nice pull out. So I don't know, I want to sit to racing all-wheel drive cars now. Racing here in Barbados has been absolutely incredible. It's actually my first time ever on the island. It's beautiful, even just showing up and every morning waking up to an incredible ocean and then going racing and coming back to that view is pretty awesome. And the weather here for us has been incredible. I think we've only gotten rain once, and the rest of the time there's sun's out and amazing breeze. So it's definitely one of the best places I think we've raced in all year. For new drivers, I mean, the absolute best place you could ever start is racing in goat karts. I mean, that's where I started in my career, and what really led me to starting to even want to race is that I played every single sport invented practically, and really the only thing that stuck for me was racing. I mean, it's competition, it's adrenaline, it's science, it's engineering and working with a team. It's really so many different elements that no other sport really has, and it's the most amazing feeling in the world.
I started off in a Scandinavian sport called folk racing, and did quite many races there, and jumped in a few rallycross races and started off from there, and it got me to drove GRC Lights last year, which was a really great experience, and I got the chance to do the full season this year, and it has gone over the expectations so far, so it's really fun.
Yeah, both sides of my family have been highly involved in racing for About since the 60s. My dad's father worked on the Indy 500 engines. My mom's father, he was an Indy 500 team owner. He drove himself, and my dad's been working for Team Penske for the last 10 years or so, so I've been around it all of my life. And it just seemed kind of natural for me. I asked my parents when I was about 10 years old if I can start doing it. It kind of started out for something to do for fun, and the last couple of years it's gotten serious, and I want to make it a career. Yeah, being in 11th grade in high school, it's not the easiest thing to come fly to Barbados for a couple of days and chillax on the beach and drive some race cars, because at the end of the day I still got to do homework, I still got to get good grades and pass through school. So my teachers are really great about letting me miss school, but I got to do my part, I got to do it. I mean, tomorrow all I'm going to do, I'm here on the island for one more day, and probably all I'm going to do is homework, but it's a sacrifice I make, and it's definitely worth it. Yeah, my mom and dad and my grandma are here this weekend, so it was really cool. It's actually the first race my dad's ever been to that I've won, so it's been a really cool experience, especially being here in Barbados for the first lights race. Oliver and I sweeping the weekend 1-2 on both days, so it's been really cool. Hope to get to do it again next year.
With Beacon's You Choose Motor Policy, you select the benefits that suit your style and pocket. Contact us at 623-2266 or log on to beacon.co.tt for a quote today. Beacon, switched on.
So now let's have a look at some of the GRC supercars. They basically look like your production cars, you know, with nice flares and tires, but underneath it all, they are race cars. Completely redesigned suspension, powerful engines, roll cages, everything is changing them. And they are fast and they perform well. It's crazy. The GRC Volkswagen Beetle, driven by Tanner Force. What a car. It's amazing. It puts out over 600 horsepower, does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, and is all-wheel drive. This thing is quick. Don't mind it's a little bigger than the Fords and the Subarus and the Hyundais. It is one amazing vehicle.
Bushy Park Raceway is pretty cool, actually. It's one of these tracks that you can see the whole track from the grandstands. And so you can sit in one seat or in the VIP area or whatever, and you can see all of the action, which is really cool. It's an important thing for Rallycross because the races are really short, but a lot happens in a short amount of time. So it's a great facility for Rallycross because you can catch all the action from one seat. The other thing that's cool is it has some fast straightaways, so we finally get to let the legs stretch on these 600 horsepower Rallycross cars. Or some of our tracks really don't ever let them run up into 6th gear, but here we're deep into 6th gear going into a couple of the corners, which is awesome. But it's also very technical with the jumps. The gravel is very slippery, and so you have to be really aggressive for part of the lap and then really safe and tentative for another part of the lap. It's a good track.
Scott Speed, basically Tanner Force's stablemate. He drives a GRC Volkswagen as well, and he's very quick. The man has nerves of steel. You hardly see any smoke coming off the tires. The control and the emphasis he has on basically steering the car properly and driving properly is amazing. I mean, he comes from Formula 1 and he's raced nearly everything you can think of. This guy he's good, and he doesn't drink alcohol, just like me.
Yeah, so the track this year is actually quite a bit different than last year. One major thing they did differently is they put the crushed coral on the insides of all the curbs. So racing drivers, being what they all try to take a little bit of a shortcut in all the corners, which is legal as long as you keep 2 tires on the track. But what that does is that brings the dirt onto the tarmac pretty much all over the track. It makes for very, very tricky driving conditions, and it makes the race more exciting. So having to adapt to that and this awesome jump that they built here, you know, it's been a really cool layout, and it's obviously got lots of passing too, and made for really exciting racing.
Patrick Sandel, the flying Swede. Now he was really pushing at Bushy Park. He really wanted to win. And I mean, we could see how this guy could drive these cars so well. He comes from Sweden. He's raced on snow, ice, gravel, hard pack, tarmac, icy tarmac. I mean, this is his kind of stuff. He was pushing really hard. He came out on one of the last laps, threw Joker too hard and ran into speed, took off his front wheel, and Sandel was disqualified.
So I started off many years ago in northern Sweden doing stage rally with a navigator next to you. A sport I know is pretty popular and big here in the Caribbean, and I just love that sport. I did that all over the world in the World Championship for many years, and now the last 3 years I've been doing this Rallycross series mainly in America and also here down in Barbados. And it's just so much fun. It's so much adrenaline and it's so much action. When you come like 10 cars into the first corner in the final, that feeling is, you cannot describe that feeling. It's so much fun. So if you want to start racing like I do, just start with go-kart or just try to get going. It's all about building your brand and try to find sponsors, because there's a long way and you need to have good support around you. So it's a lot about finding sponsors and then work on your talent and on your physical skills.
Now, Mr. Ken Block, Hoonigan, I mean, we all enjoy his Hoonigan videos of all those different cars doing crazy stuff, smoking. I mean, the Mustang was one of my favorites. Now he has a 2-wheel drive Mark II Escort that just came out. I can't wait to see that. And he's here at GRC, he's pushing hard. He was pushing hard in LA, but he had a lot of failures and, you know, he got into a lot of trouble, destroyed the front end and so forth. So he's back at Bushy Park to try and keep his lead. But he had a bad off. He's in front of the pack. He came onto the loose gravel, basically hit a hump before one of the jumps and lost it, flipped 3 times, poor guy. And that was on the first day. He had a bad run at Barbados.
With Beacon's You Choose Motor Policy, you select the benefits that suit your style and pocket. Contact us at 623-2266 or log on to beacon.co.tt for a quote today. Beacon, switched on.
So Tanner Faust, great guy, and he loved Bad Granny as well. You know, we had a good time with him. He won on the first day, and he won on the second day. Basically taking Bushy Park, Barbados, GRC. It was crazy. Great guy, good winner. Speed was right behind him. Volkswagen crew, Andretti Motorsports, well done. Yeah, but you got a little button in there and a blue bottle, because I mean that Volkswagen from the lines, it's just...
It's quick.
It's quick, boy.
Yeah.
And through the straight, you actually see them pulling away from the Fords. I mean.
Yeah, they make some good power. And that's, you know, that's the nice thing about having a great team behind you, is you can make just a few more horsepower than these guys. We don't have the strongest engines. There are some that make more power. but you have to find the balance with the turbocharged engine, as you know, between the power and the reliability. We all run a restrictor that's the same size. If you take the restrictor off, we could make 900 or 1,000 horsepower out of these 2 liters. But with the restrictor on, it's almost dead even for everybody, about 600, 575. But you know, the starts are something that are important. The suspension works for the starts, the timing on the lights, everything kind of comes together for the start. And if you're just quick enough on the start, 1/10 of a second is a full car length.
Yep, and you're in front there to the top corner, and then you try and get out clean and stay out clean, and then you use a joke lap, and you're out in front, and then you become you.
That's the plan right there. It didn't work in the final actually at first because we were 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide. But you were still, I was watching, you were basically a fender ahead of the Brazilian guy.
Yeah, of Nelson, and so I had the worst line coming into that first corner, and so that was the big risk, was to dive in there fast enough that it scared them off. And luckily that worked, and I didn't, you know, because the risk is if it's dusty, then you just go straight.
Straight, sideways off.
Yeah, bad.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
We hope to see you next year.
Absolutely.
And we love watching you on television.
Yeah, thank you.
And we love watching you drift.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching you on YouTube.
And swimming tonight.
Swimming tonight.
Swimming tonight. So now let's meet some of the people that put this together. The great thinkers that have great ideas and enough drive to put this all together and bring us Red Bull Global Rallycross.
So the idea for Red Bull Global Rallycross really began, we took a look at what was happening with racing and tried to come up with a whole new concept that featured quick racing, a lot of action, you know, and a lot of forms of racing. Cars drive around for 3 hours, and it takes quite a bit of patience to watch it. Our racing is super action-packed. Heats last 4 to 6 minutes, and you have winners and losers in every heat. One of the beautiful things about Rallycross is that you always have a second chance, and that's where our whole heat structure works. You work up through the heats. If the heats don't go well for you, you still have something we call a last chance qualifier heat, where you can get in, you have one more chance to make it into the final, and everyone's here to make it into the final. Our driver profile in Red Bull Global Rallycross is really unique. We have Formula One drivers, we have NASCAR drivers, we have IndyCar drivers, we have rally drivers, and we have Rallycross specialists, and everything in between. And that's one of the really unique things about Rallycross as a sport, is that drivers from different disciplines can come in and get up to speed relatively quickly. We try to vary the courses quite a bit, from long courses, and we have short courses, and we have some courses that have more dirt on them, and some courses that have more tarmac, to try to even that out a little bit. But that is something we've really tried to create, is something where drivers from a lot of different backgrounds can come and compete and be competitive. Now the strategy is keep propelling the growth of the series forward. We want to keep that momentum up, and you know, as you know, when you have successes, it's harder and harder to kind of continue that momentum. So we're always looking at new ways to do that. We're looking at new ways to film our sport. We're looking at new ways to govern our sport. We're looking at new ways to promote our sport. We're looking at new ideas on the track, and we'll continue to do that. The group that manages the sport is very aggressive, and they're very aggressive about the growth of it, and they can see the potential, and it's just a trick of continuing to unlock that potential. And there's a lot more there, and there's a lot of cool things that we already have in store for 2016. We can't wait to share it with everyone.